Hello, hello. I didn't know if you were going to introduce or I was, but I could introduce. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Sci-Fi Vision Presents Fandom Access. We have quite a full show tonight because we're going to start with From tonight, and hopefully you all watched it, because if you haven't, you might want to skip for a little bit and come on back. But we have From, and then of course we have the Arc. We have the series finale of Snowpiercer, Agatha All Along, and then if Karen ever gets here, we're also going to talk about
she just
Vengeance. Yeah, I know. I saw her oops. So yay, that's what happens live. Although I'm not sure if making sure it streams live. This thing never actually. I don't think will come in anyway. So there could be multiple people we don't know. But hello, Karen. Welcome.
Hi. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Just a reminder for any of you From fans out there that if you did miss last week, at the top of the show, we talked to Elizabeth Moy, who plays Tian Chen, and you can always stream that on, here, let me put the banner up. I should have done that to begin with. You can always, there's one going below that. I didn't even notice that. You can always stream it at our YouTube channel, last Tuesday's episode. It is not spoiler because it was before the episode aired, but it was still a really good interview. So if you missed that, make sure you check it out. And then next week, we are going to have Ricky Hay live, who plays Kenny, and you can send us your questions either on social media or comment, I guess I should say, on one of the socials, wherever you're watching this. And we can give them to them live. So please do. And when we do this tonight, we want to hear your opinions on the shows too, your theories. So if you have anything to add, let us know in the comments and we will read it live. And then maybe it won't be only the three of us talking. So, hopefully, as it is right now. But that's pretty much what is on tap for tonight. So how you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good.
That's good. So I know you've all watched From. What did you think? I'll ask you first, because I think everybody already knows that I loved it, and you can read my review, my recap at scifivision.com. And also, I should mention, for anybody who didn't hear it last week, the interview with Harold Perrineau is up as well, if you go to the site. So sorry, go ahead. What did you guys think?
About this episode, it was pretty good. I mean, kind of shocking, right? But yet also kind of like a bit of a setup, like setting the stage for the season, right? So I don't know. I kind of liked how they got the action going and kind of up to the creep factor. And I think Tabitha's story, I'm glad they sort of got that moving quickly also. I don't know how many episodes there are in the season.
I assume 10, because there was before. I assume so.
Yeah. And so, were there 10?
Yeah, I think so.
So, it's important when we have these short seasons nowadays, it's important to kind of get stuff going.
10. So. No, 12. We got
12. Woohoo!
We got,
okay, so you know more.
Well, hold on.
I was guessing.
No, there's not 12, are there?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
Can AJ count to 10?
No, I can count, but
I'm joking, AJ.
No, I'm looking at TV time, and it shows 12.
I don't
know. But then there's 11. It looks like.
Well, I don't know if there is an official answer on that, but I can probably find out the official answer.
I think.
Okay.
It says 30 on
anyway, there's
how accurate is that?
10 now.
So I mean, it says there's 30 total. So according to Internet Movie Database, there is 10, but we know how accurate they are.
It doesn't matter how many. My point was that in these short seasons, it's good to it's nice to see things get moving quickly and not drag out. I hope there won't be filler in the middle, but I don't know. AJ, how did you enjoy this episode?
It was a good start to get the season going. I tell you, when Leanne Chen's character bit the big one at the end, my first thing I thought was, well, shit, that would have been a great thing to talk to Elizabeth Moy about.
Okay, my comment time. You guys got to remember one thing. I could not tell you guys. And that was kind of why I was like, do we have her on week 1? Do we have her on? It was hard to know what to do. And I thought that we would get more people wanting questions while she was still on the show. So,
well, she's still on the show.
Why I opted to have her come on last week rather than this week. So yeah, I know, but it was kind of like a toss up, and I couldn't tell you guys, oh, hey, by the way, she dies. Do you want to have her on next week? Because then you both would have killed me. So yeah. And MGM might have too. So no, I'm just teasing. But yeah, so that was why we had her on last week and didn't do the spoilers. But at least with Ricky coming next week, we can talk about, kind of his reaction and everything to that. Whatever that may be, in the upcoming episode, because we'll have seen the second episode. I really liked the first episode. I think it moved really fast, and I agree with you. It definitely was a good start to it. It brought a lot of tension, and I mean, I definitely feel like that continues throughout the season. I do not feel so far like there was much filler, and I've seen pretty far into it. So, yeah, I mean, all I can say is I think everybody is going to really like it. I wish I could say more. Obviously, I can't. Right. But yeah, it gets really good.
To keep it on this episode, we had this. I mean, there's sort of 3 main story arcs going on in this episode, right? One was Tabitha. I didn't expect her to find I really liked the twist with Victor's name still being taped into his lunchbox.
Yeah, that was cool.
I didn't expect that to go so quickly, that she has already met someone who appears to be, I mean, I think she just says, "You're his father," and we don't see a response, but, I'm assuming this is Victor's father.
It's her guess. No, we have a comment here. Let's see. Jasmine says, I just realized, did the teen boy from season 1, episode 1 ever get identified who asked, "Don't you recognize me?" Was he supposed to be her brother? That's been a theory I think a lot of people have, that perhaps it's Thomas. But he wouldn't be that old, so I don't know necessarily if it could. I mean, this town's weird.
Wait, what?
Who the hell knows? The boy from episode 1.
The little boy
in the beginning. At least I assume she's talking about episode 1. She means back on the very beginning of the show, the one that was on the porch when they went in Colony House, and he's said something to her. I forget exactly what he said, but said something to her to get her to go with him instead of going into Colony House the very first day. I had kind of wondered that too, but we find out obviously he was a lot younger when he died, since he was a baby. And from what I could gather, from what they've, said at different times, I think she says at one point that she was 16, and she's obviously not that much older than that now. I think she's supposed to be 17 or 18. Don't quote me on that. But so he could not be that old. But then again, this place is so twisted. Who the hell knows anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do agree with what you said, though. I was kind of surprised it went that fast too. And yeah, that's what Tabitha thinks. We'll find out, his reaction to that. But it's quite clear that he recognizes the lunchbox. So.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that this part of the storyline was kind of what I wanted to know the most about, was her getting outside of it, because I think it brings so much to the show. But I always question, and when I watch this at this point, I'm always questioning, do we believe what we see? Because we know so often there's an unreliable narrator, and I know there's a lot of theories floating around. Is she really in the real world? Do we know this? Because I think it's strange that she sees the boy in white, because I mean, is he projecting himself? Is he in her head? How is she seeing him, or is she seeing him? I guess is the
and so she didn't get out. The boy in white pushed her into Camden, Maine, where Victor is from, right? So
right.
Is that boy a helper to her? And I guess, is she almost is Tabitha really there, or is she a ghost there, kind of, right? Although many people have seen her and talked to her. Yeah. and if she's a ghost, she's one of the few that doesn't have like bleeding eyes and stuff, but and trying to eat you.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I took it at face value, but this show's so hard to know, so it's hard to tell. And it looks like, yes, that is what Jasmine meant, but is hoping at some point they go back to it. I hope they will too, but I kind of wonder that wasn't sort of just a one-off thing to scare her, But let's see. Yeah, I think that the boy in white, I'm talking about the boy in white, not that teen boy. I think he's helping too, but I mean,
well, and Victor,
again, we don't really know for sure, but I kind of feel like he's been helpful to the people he has helped at any rate.
And Victor has repeatedly said he's my friend, right?
Right.
And
definitely.
Victor like knows so much. Although Victor doesn't know what he knows. Like, it's not like Jade is always like, Cuckoo Jade is always like, Victor, tell me what you know. Tell me what you know. And Victor, like, doesn't know anything. I mean, he knows so much, but he's like, he's just sort of absorbed it. And he's repressed so much of it also, right?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't heard Victor really talk about his father, which is what I think people are waiting to see, because we don't know. We've heard him talk about his mother. We've heard him talk about his sister Eloise, but that's kind of all we've seen. But it could simply be, that he repressed it. The one thing I wanted to make comment on, I know this isn't necessarily one of the big pieces of the story, but I did like in this episode how they kind of did a good job of bringing in little tidbits of what happened last season without making them feel like exposition. Did you feel like that? Because like we see, for instance, at the beginning, we see Boyd cleaning his wounds. We know he got shot. It's just little things like that. They mentioned the music box. They mentioned the people in the coma. I forget what it was. I had written it in the review. Jade mentions something that happened. And the point is they put like little things here and there that I feel like if you didn't see it, I mean, I don't know if you could understand this without seeing the other seasons. I think you could pick it up. I think you would have missed an awful lot. But I think that if you didn't do a rewatch, it should help you at any rate.
I rewatched season 2 last week, so it was all fresh for me. But I'm inclined to agree with you. The things that you mentioned just now was it was done. At least there wasn't a big exposition dump, but rather like smaller kinds of tidbit. I mean, I watched it last week. And I was glad to have the refresher. Oh yeah, boy got shot. And like he has multiple. He's got like several wounds. I'm like, oh, that was that was shotgun pellets, right?
Yeah. So kind of it just drops those little bits in. There's also the thing about like the alcohol that Father Crottree left. He tells Jade about it. And that's the one thing I wanted to comment. This isn't important, but it made me laugh. Do you notice that they brought Jade into the police station to get him sober, and then he immediately, when he wakes up, offers him alcohol? I don't know if that was just to be funny or it was just something you weren't supposed to know. I don't know. It just it made me laugh.
He says hair of the dog, right? That little.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's an alcoholic. At least we don't think so.
When you're hungover, that little shot of liquor makes you feel better.
I guess that's true. Yeah, it could be that. But
he does clearly say, would you like some hair of the dog?
Yeah.
I mean, more importantly of that, was like, where did you get the liquor? And Boyd says, oh, Father Crottree buried it in a bag with like a bloody sweater and I forget what he says exactly, but
he doesn't explain it. Now that was my question though. What do you guys think about Father Crottree? Do you think Boyd is imagining it, or do you think it's potentially something the town's showing him? I'm just curious. I have no idea. I'm not sure what I even think, to be honest. But what do you guys think?
AJ?
Oh, he's muted. There we go.
I forgot I muted myself.
That's okay. What do you think about Father Crottree in this episode? Is he really there?
Who the hell knows? Because
that's my answer with everything on this show. Do we know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be just Boyd's just seeing him. I think he's just another entity, and I think it's just what Boyd's conjuring up. It's really hard to say because there's so many weird things going on in this town.
Yeah.
That it's really hard to say for sure.
Unless it's to the point of trying to scare him, I'm not sure why it would show him to him, because all he's doing is saying you should probably be more scared.
So I having just rewatched season 2 last week, and Boyd speaks to Father Khatri numerous times last season, and I kind of felt like Father Khatri almost is like Boyd working stuff out in his head. Like their conversations are never scary. They're kind of, Boyd, what are you gonna do? What are you thinking? What's the real question? And like is he there or not? So he's again, he appears in a non-threatening manner and has these conversations. And then in this recent episode, Boyd says, wait a minute, that thing that spoke to me was not my wife. And so you are certainly not Father Khatri. So why should I believe anything you say? I don't know why the town would allow him this, like, is he more of a helpery ghost like the boy in white? Is the town messing with him? Is there I came back to something Sarah said last season, which was during cicada time, when cicadas, like her brother was terrified of cicadas. And she said, what if when we die, our fears like go into the forest and come alive or whatever?
So it's sort of his fear of not doing the right thing, I guess, or not.
Well, I mean, if your fears can come alive, why can't other things come alive in that forest? Right?
Yeah, I want to mention, I'm not sure what this is. Jasmine says that there's extra content for season 3. I did not know that. I mean, I've seen further, so I don't know that it would necessarily help me anyway, but I didn't know there was extra content. I'm guessing this is on probably the MGM site.
Must be trailers and clips maybe and things.
Yeah. I know there's trailers and stuff, but I'm not sure exactly what she means by extra content, but I will definitely be looking for it. No,
I will not. And AJ,
well, see, I am, but
I won't.
But I try to avoid all extra sneak peeks and everything.
Yeah. Well, all right. I guess it's under season 3. Oh, she must mean it's actually on MGM. Okay. MGM Plus, I'm guessing. All right. Let's see. Red Candy. I think this is a little ahead of where we're at right now. Thinks about Tilly being mysterious and says that ever since her parents from the bus to the clinic scene with Jim, it's like she's dropping breadcrumbs, like she's a mole. I guess the thought that there could be a mole is still there. I don't know that I necessarily think it's Tilly, just because I think that's really obvious. And that's just my own personal opinion, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
She's the old lady who's like, I love to crochet. And then Elgin's like, I crochet.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, are you pregnant? Oh yeah, I'm pregnant. Like, is she just an intuitive, like, she's very suspicious.
Yeah, she is suspicious, but that's why I think if there is a mole, it's not her. I'm always the one that's like, nah, that's too obvious. Doesn't mean it's not, I don't know. I'm not saying it isn't. And just so I do want to make an aside, because if I know there's a lot of people here tonight that aren't used to listening to our show that came specifically for From, and we appreciate it. Shout out to all you that are on the Facebook group that I told to come. I'm glad y'all came. Anything, because of the fact you guys do know, if you've looked at my posts, that obviously I've seen further because of interviews and things like that. Anything that I talk about that's a theory, I always make sure that I'm writing down my theories and that before I watch the next episode, so that I do not spoil you. So if I tell you, I think something, I'm not basing it on something in the future of that. So just so y'all, I just want to make sure everybody knows that, so they don't think that I'm telling you things I'm not. It's really what I thought at that point in time. So let's see. We have some more comments. Let's see. Oh, she's saying they don't reveal much in those specials. And hi, I don't know how to say that. Yo, Marlis Medina. Hello. I'll put her or his or they. I apologize. I'm not sure. But the comment up. So this is actually, I was going to say, after that whole scene with Father Khatri is the next big thing, which is where Jim decides he's going to go looking for his wife again. He finds Ethan. Victor brought Ethan back, I guess technically. Didn't bring him back, sorry. Tian Chen brought Ethan back. Victor told on him. But he decides he's going to go out. I really think Jim is an idiot. I'm sorry. I like him and everything, but I think he needs to stay home with his kids. They need him. I get at the same time, he's like, well, my kid's not listening and he's running out without me. I need to do something. And I figured you guys were constantly like me saying that Ethan is like Carl, because that's all I kept thinking through this episode. Carl, get back in the house. So yeah. But obviously Kenny, yeah, Desmond is pissed off by Jim too. I think a lot of people are kind of mad at Jim a lot of times, let's be honest.
I mean, Jim, Tabitha said you have to take care of these kids. Like, like everyone is very clear. Like, Tabitha would not want you to leave these kids alone. And Jim's like, I have to go find them so their mother won't die. Like, it is a very, it pissed me off too. There are so many reasons why it's a bad idea. They happen to just get lucky and come across this cabin, which I guess qualifies as a shelter that you can. But look, if you, I wouldn't sleep in there. I'd go right back. Look at those creepy.
It reminds me of Blair Witch Project.
those creepy little robot, little mannequin men, which I can't even imagine. So I was thinking, I wonder if those, how long has this been going on? Like, Jade has seen a Civil War soldier. Like, how long has this town been trapping people and feeding on them? And could those have been talismans that were effective at one point in time, or that a group of people set up thinking they were talismans that would work or something?
Yeah, I kind of wondered that, and I think a lot of people have been saying maybe they were some kind of talisman, kind of wondering.
No, right, I'm not so original.
No, yeah, well, no, I understand why you say it, because that's the first thing I thought too. I don't know the answer to that. I wish that we could see what's going on outside the cabin at night to know if they're keeping them away. All we know is there's something outside the cabin. We don't know what it is or who it is or whatever. It could be animals for all we know. But at least Kenny's going to go with him. Obviously that will end up probably not a great thing because he wasn't there with what happens later. I do want to point out, because I did not notice it until hindsight.
AJ, were you talking?
Sorry, AJ.
I was attempting to.
Sorry?
You know what? Jim, while pissing us off, it's very Jim though. He's always jumped first, and then he thinks about everything. Oh, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should have done that, or he thinks he's definitely a jump first, think second kind of guy. Sure. So it's in character for what he did, at least.
Yeah, it's definitely in character. I just wanted to point out, because I did not pick up on it until after I watched it. And then I'm like, oh, I should have noticed that. Kenny makes that comment about, I'm going to go with him. I know what it's like to lose a parent. I'm not going to let him lose 2 parents in 1 week. And it's like, that was totally foreshadowing. I definitely did not pick up on it until after. But after, I'm like, oh, man, he said that.
Here's the thing. Was it foreshadowing, or was it the town making what he said come true?
That's a good point, because we're talking about fears and everything else. That is definitely a good point. But I just assumed it was foreshadowing, but you definitely could be right.
I gotta say, the monsters, that was brilliant plan by the monsters, letting the animals out like that. That was really smart.
Yeah, it was. Let me say to you guys, the thing that I'm kind of questioning, I wanted to mention before we move on from this, is why they've never seen these cabins before. Like, is the town or whatever the powers that be keeping them from them that we didn't? Because obviously Boyd didn't see them, and they don't brush off the fact. Jim comes back after and he says, they would have seen them even if their tent was dragged. That I was wrong, and we probably are going the wrong direction. So I don't know. I'm just kind of curious why they didn't. I feel like that.
Oh, because no one ever can. You can never go far enough away that you can't get back by dusk. These guys have first Boyd, and now these guys have walked farther than anyone ever has before, because you have to get back by dark.
I guess that's true. We know that they didn't see him, and Sarah didn't see him, I think is kind of the point.
Well, they might have walked in a different direction.
Right. That's that's true. They said they went in a different direction. Maybe they think maybe they did.
They don't have a compass. They've never been there before. It's not like there's the Appalachian Trail with signs every 3/4 of a mile, right?
Do you think that it was a dumb idea for them to stay in the cabin? I was kind of like, that's smart. They don't got to go further. But I guess other people disagreed with me.
No, I think Boyd told them, I tried hanging a talisman in a tent, and it ripped my tent to shreds. It won't work. You can't. The
But
tent
no,
will
I'm
not
not
work.
going back to the hut and staying in that cabin. Like, do you think I thought that was actually a decent idea from Jim? But it didn't seem like people agreed with that. They thought they were stupid for doing that. I don't know. I thought it was a smart idea.
I mean, if you have the talisman, why not?
Yeah, that's
I
why
didn't,
was
I didn't
like,
find that idea too
less
much.
walking, less distance. This is how you go further and find new things.
Right.
I mean, the talisman works inside a car. It worked inside the RV. It works inside like other kinds of not very secure buildings, right?
Right.
I think it's
Yeah,
not.
I don't know. I figured it would work.
I mean, I think it was terrible that like, so they walk all this way. They're in the and like it's the first night, and Jim's like, "Oh, Kenny, you're right. I could have left my kids orphans. I should go back. Let's go back tomorrow." What?
Yeah,
like, oh my, what? Like, could you have saved us?
Figured this a day ago, you know.
No, he could not have saved the trip.
Yeah,
because otherwise it wouldn't be Jim.
True, very true.
Yeah.
So let's see what's next.
Yeah, so I was wondering if it was the town. I mean, the town sort of making it come true that, you know, she like Kenny's mom goes out to help Boyd bring in the animals in this very like self-sacrifice. I mean, you know, she's first of all, she has to try to fight everyone who's panicking about food. Then like she goes out to help with the animals, which was it snowing? Like, what is this picture has snow?
It was probably snowing because it's snowing through a lot of it.
And you know, but see, not only like, so I was wondering if it was sort of like Kenny's statement being like, I wouldn't want them to lose two parents. Is the town making come true? But they also force Boyd to watch her be torn to shreds.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point.
But before we get too far into the very end of the episode, let's go. There's a couple things I want to mention. We didn't talk about Fatima. That was the next thing I have. Let me see where to go. And the food shortage. Those were kind of the other things. The food shortage is obviously really important. I'm not sure because that's what led to all this. Those are kind of the two things.
Well, nothing happened to Fatima except she.
No, nothing happened yet. I said you're right. That part isn't necessarily a huge thing. Other than Elgin had the vision after that. I think that was after that, right? I'm looking. I have it in order. That's why I'm looking.
Well,
I have about clear. Jade. Those things aren't super important in the scheme of things.
He had a dream. He didn't have like at first. It appears that he and Billy are having a shared vision, but it's actually a dream that he's having.
Right. So yeah, the food shortage. Everybody's freaking out. They don't know what to do because there's nothing left. All the crops are bad, and that's when they start the idea. Well, what if we eat the animals? And it kind of divides people. And this whole scene was good. I enjoyed this scene. I'm not sure where Victor got a gun from, but he could have really gotten it from any of those bodies that were, he found slaughtered before. Let's see. Jasmine says, I feel like even if they left the animals till morning, they would have all been slaughtered. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I hope cannibalism doesn't play a part. I hope not. But yeah, I think the point is that the monsters are screwing with them. I mean, I think that's the biggest point. But I mean, animals are a big point of contention right now. This part.
So I wondered about that. That's an interesting comment from Jasmine there, because I kind of, I wondered about that. But I thought really that they were letting the cows out to lure the people out of the houses to come and save the cows, right?
That's what I took it as. I mean, that seems pretty obvious.
And then I thought slaughtering the cow, like we saw one cow get killed.
Oh, I didn't think you meant. I just mean I think they're doing whatever they can to screw with people. Like, they know how important the food is to them, and they know that if there's less food, they're gonna freak out even more. Is what I'm saying.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I definitely think it was to bring the people out to kill more people. I didn't mean it wasn't. It was to draw them out.
I don't think the monsters are trying to screw with them. I think the monsters are trying to kill them and eat them.
Well, but then why are they screwing?
I mean, that's
the
whole.
Why are they screwing with Boyd then?
Because I feel like the monsters and the town are like not the same thing necessarily with this. Like, the monsters are a part of the town, but like if there's a larger mystical thing going on here, like I think the monsters, I don't count Father Khatri as one of the monsters. Like, the monsters that come out at night I thought they let those animals go to lure people that don't eat them. But I was kind of surprised when they killed a cow because the cows are not there. Like that then did appear to be and so AJ, then to your point, the monsters, like they did want to torture Kenny's mom and make Boyd watch. And remember that girl that they put a piece of rebar through her head and left her pinned to the tree, and they were and to watch the other guy, and they said, we want to play with you. They're getting more violent and more scary, I think.
Yeah. I don't know whether they eat them or not. I think that that's a possibility, but I really feel like in this episode, at least by the end of it, that their point is we're having fun playing with you and we want to see you break. That is the biggest thing I take away from this. Whether or not they have to kill, I don't know. I took it from this. I don't even think they have to kill the people. I don't think that they're necessarily eating them. I thought when she meant, maybe I misunderstood Jasmine's point. I thought she was saying maybe the townspeople would have to eat each other, cannibalism. That was what.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant you're talking now about the monsters eating people. Okay.
I mean, here's another comment. Jasmine says that there have been people posting online that maybe the animals can't leave either. So if you just let the animals walk around, they'd still be in the town in the morning.
Yeah, I think they make a comment that they just walked out of the forest one day. Like, how did they, when they found them at the beginning? I think they said something like that. I was trying to remember without going back, but I just figured like the play. I keep wanting to say the island. If we're talking and I say the island, y'all know. I keep going to say that. But I think the town provides. Because I feel like they want to torture people. I don't think they want everybody in the town to die because I think that wouldn't be fun. So I feel like they're never going to let everybody completely starve, no matter what, whether it's the monsters or the powers that be that run the island or whatever the heck's going on.
Don't worry, we'll discover some secret stash.
Yeah.
Of food somewhere.
Yeah. Now, let's see what else. Tabitha went to the church was the other thing. I'm not sure that in the scheme of things is really important other than it led her to the house she went to.
No, the other big thing that happened was that while all this mayhem is going on with the cows, Ethan manages to open the door and so monsters get in the house after him and his sister.
Yeah, that was kind of yeah, he went after the goat. That was kind of dumb on his part. He's a kid. I can forgive him.
He's a little old. He's not 4 years old.
Yeah, but I feel like it was a gut reaction and it wasn't necessarily thought through. Stupid. I feel like if I was there and I don't know that I would do that now, but if I was younger and like I saw my pet run by outside, I don't know that I wouldn't open the door like just out of reaction. Oh no, not necessarily thinking. He's still a kid. I don't know. That's what I think.
He's like 11. 12.
Yeah, but I still can see him doing it. I still can forgive him because he's younger.
Really? I would say AJ, as the father of two boys who have been past that age, is maybe in a position to know better than I am about what I could expect of a child that age to be like. My best friend, the goat, is out in the street, and even though there are monsters around, I gotta he didn't just move to Monster Town yesterday. I feel like shows sometimes get a little lazy when there's a kid involved and they can make him do something stupid because he's a kid and he's not 4. He's like 10 to 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they try to make kids be a little more like anyway, like the monsters get right on in the house. It's not like, hard for them to push their way in.
No. And so thankfully Sarah and Randall helped them get out. I was glad Randall at least got off his ass and did something. I mean, not that he did a whole lot, but he did a little bit. He did the bare minimum at least.
I didn't include his picture because I hate him so much, but there he is on the left. God, when can that guy please get killed?
What was I going to say? You made me lose my train of thought. I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Not relevant, but it's driving me nuts. And I keep saying this, and I posted this online, and I've asked people, why was Victor in their house at night? He's not living with them. He was with Tian Chen and the Matthews in their house at night. Why?
I don't know.
It irritated me because I feel like it was just a little nitpick that was stupid that shouldn't have happened. And it irritated me.
What, that he was in this house?
Yeah, that he was in their house because it's like he's living there and there's no reason for him to be.
But he might have been there when everybody was afraid to go to sleep, and now he's still hanging around.
I guess. I just wondered. I don't know. It was just something that irritated me.
I think
Jazz was talking about maybe there being a purge and the town maybe resetting. Yeah, I think that's been a theory before with was it Christopher? Is that the guy's name that killed everybody? We still don't know a whole lot about that yet. but yeah, it could be. I don't know.
Well, Christopher killed everybody. Boyd's wife did lose it and kill a bunch of people before Boyd had to kill her. She would have killed more if Boyd hadn't killed her, right?
Yeah. I think they're alluding that I think they're alluding that Jade might become like Christopher. I sure hope not, but that's kind of what I
No, I think Jade is on the trail of a breakthrough.
Oh, I think he is too, but I'm just saying I think that they're kind of comparing him, I guess, to Christopher because he's with the whole symbol and everything.
I think we need a guy to be the smart guy, the science guy to figure shit out, and Jade is it, and they can't kill him.
No, I don't think they'll kill him. I hope not. I like Jade. Jade's my favorite. He's awesome. I don't know. I like his attitude. He's funny.
Jade's your favorite? He's such a dick to everyone.
Yes, but that's kind of my point. He's got the best lines. He is a dick.
He's the second biggest asshat after Randall.
Yes, but at least he realizes it and apologizes when he does it.
I would not mind one bit if Jade got killed, except that they need a science nerd on because Jim thinks he knows stuff, but he really doesn't. Jade really knows stuff.
Yeah. All right. So we're back around to the end and about it seems that the point of the monsters is potentially that they're trying to make Boyd break and they force him to watch. I think that what's it say? Red Candy says Jade's the Eureka of the show. Yeah, Jade's the one that I think is going to figure everything out probably. Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm going to take issue with your comment that the point of the monsters is to break.
At least again, right
now. Is it the town making stuff came true? Boyd said out loud, "You don't break me." And they said to him, "Oh, you say we don't break you? We're going to break you." Is this becoming a thing? Let me finish my sentence. Is this becoming a thing where you have to be careful what you say? Because if you voice your fear, it's not just when you die now, your fears come to life. If you voice your fear, does it come to life, right? If you even say it, if you think it, I don't know. Could that be a thing that's coming? Anyway, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I found that scene kind of hard to watch, in a good way. I don't know. Harold Perrineau was really great in that scene. Yeah, I found it really hard to watch.
So AJ, what do you think about, just asking AJ but the idea of we don't even see her, the person being killed is not the focus of the scene. I kind of like it, but I kind of don't like it.
I think it makes it even creepier because we don't see it. It has that whole, all we have is Boyd's face, and Harold Perrineau acted the hell out of that. So you got to imagine it was pretty bad. Plus, we hear her screams off screen, so I think it makes it even more, more devastating. And I tell you, I don't think we've seen the last of her.
She can come back maybe as a ghost.
She can come back as a ghost. She could be. They could have. Who knows? Who knows what they actually did to her? They could have turned her to be one of them.
We don't know. Yeah, and that's my other question when you say turned her. I think about how the worms went into Boyd, and it makes me wonder, the monster scratched Boyd. Does that not matter? Could he be infected with something now? Because that was what I wondered right away, was oh no, they scratched him. Does that not mean anything?
He didn't get the worms from a monster, though. He got the worms from a guy chained to the wall who, if, Sarah and Randall and whoever else, when they went into a coma, they were chained to the wall. Was that guy in a coma somewhere? And we don't, and he gave the worms to Boyd. I don't know anything about that. Could they have given him worms? Would they have given him cicada? That whole thing just is a huge question mark out there right now. But Boyd doesn't have the worms anymore. But he didn't catch it from a monster. Maybe the monster, I think if the monster was able to give him the worms back, the monster wouldn't do it.
Well, not necessarily the worms. I just wonder, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm so used to thinking of Walking Dead and stuff. I just feel like they scratched him. Does that not, I don't know. I just worry that it could later come back that something is going to be wrong with him since the monster scratched him with the claws.
I
Don't know. And I'm just, theorizing,
I mean,
throwing things out there, seeing where they stick.
I hope not, because that would be repetitive.
Yeah,
I feel like we saw that already. Like, get a better storyline.
That's true. True. No, Jasmine's trying to send a link. The links are not showing up. Apparently, you can't send them. I'm not sure how to, but if you message it to me on Facebook directly, you know where I'm at on Facebook, I can look at it, but we can't get them in the chat. I guess it won't let you because we're in an app for where we're streaming from. Let me see. Let me really quick while you guys are talking. I'm going to look at the Facebook page. Maybe it shows up direct. I'm not Facebook, YouTube. Maybe it'll show up directly on the page she's on.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, it was really so. While she's doing that, AJ. I mean, if the death of Tian Chen is supposed to break Boyd, I mean, I don't think it will because he's the star of the show. I think it could break Kenny.
Oh, it's absolutely going to break Kenny. Actually, you know what? Kenny is either going to regress and kind of go inward, or it's going to piss him off and he's going to become the new Jim. He's going to start taking all these unnecessary risks to avenge his mother.
Yeah,
it's going to be all or nothing with Kenny. He's going. I don't know which direction he's going, but it's going to be one of them.
I think you're right. Yeah, he's already very. I mean, he lost his father. He lost the girl he loved, and now he lost his mother. And like, what has he got? He's got nothing left to lose, right? So, what does he have to go home for? Right? Both of his parents, like everybody he loved, was in this town and was killed.
And break him. Sorry, I was trying to find the link while you guys are talking. Apparently, you can't send it through the Facebook comments at all. So she's gonna, I think, private message it to me and we'll look at it. But yeah, I don't know. So what are you guys looking forward to? Like, obviously, we're talking about Kenny. I want to know about that. But what?
What do I want to see this season? I'd like to see Randall get killed. And put us all out of our misery of having to watch that guy. Although a character that you hate is good to have on a show, right? He creates unnecessary tension in the town, which is important, I guess. So Donna is one of my favorite characters. I know she sort of plays a second fiddle, a supporting character to Boyd mostly. But I'd like to see what happens with her. And with like, it does kind of appear that the Colony House, like everyone is freaking out, but I feel like the Colony House people are always the problem, right? They like are always having to freak out, stealing guns, shooting people, whatever. And she's like
banging on bathroom doors,
right?
Anybody else wanted to smack her? Sorry, Karen, I didn't mean to cut you off, but did anybody else want to smack her?
That girl who's pounding on the bathroom. First of all, it is not believable to me that a building the size of Colony House only has
one bathroom. I know.
I tell you what, if that had been me, I would have been like, guess what? Banging on the door ain't going to make me come out any quicker.
Yeah. Also, apparently everybody knows she's pregnant. Can you believe that she would say, it's bad enough you get double rations. Now you're hogging the bathroom. Like, what? Like, way to... Like, she's so mean about it, right? But yeah, it's not going to get her out faster, and she's being a total jerk. Go find another bathroom. There's like a whole town. Go pee in somebody else's bathroom.
Pee on a tree.
I know. I just wanted to add with what you guys are saying. This is a slight tease that Harold gave in the interview, and it's not a spoiler because we have no clue who the hell he's talking about. But he did say that somebody, I guess, that we may not like later on. It's because he's saying that people are doing different things and changing, and I have no idea what that means, but it's in the interview. If you guys,
Rob Perrin said that. I mean,
it's not spoiler. I mean, it's just kind of he says that, which really doesn't tell you anything, but he does say that. And let's see, Candy. Whoops, thinks that Randall will have a good arc. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
That's slob, Randall.
Yeah, that's slob. And to comment on what Jasmine was trying to send, they're talking about how Jade mentioned chaos theory. And I'm assuming I can't read the whole thing while we're on the podcast. It's really long, but I'm assuming from what they mean is like, a butterfly flaps its wings here and something else happens over here, so that things could be, related in a way we don't know. And then they're talking about geometric patterns, which I guess has to do with chaos theory. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think if there's an answer, Jade maybe will figure it out eventually. And I've said before, I feel like Jade is kind of like the audience trying to figure out what the hell's going on in this place.
I guess, except he's like way smart. Like I'd have to like go Google chaos theory for a few minutes before I could.
Yeah, I remember. Wasn't it him that was talking about the last season was talking about the oh shoot, I can't think of what it's called, but the train tracks when one person will die, and then if you divert the train, somebody else will die. That thing. I can't think of what it's called, but yeah, I was Googling that back then.
They talked about that on the Arc this week. Is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah, but I think it was on here before too. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that's what he was talking to the bartender about like a long time ago. But it was a long time ago. So I may not remember. But yeah, I mean, chaos theory definitely could be something. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. That's why it's for everything. I don't know. And I really seriously don't know. So
yeah, it's called the trolley problem. And it was explained in detail on the Arc. And that's why you're thinking of it.
Yeah, I know. But I think he said something to the bartender about that last time.
I don't
when they were talking. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm mixing up my shows. It's very possible.
I don't.
But anyway, yeah, we'll find out all these things soon.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I'm looking forward to everybody seeing the next one, then we can discuss it. But just to reiterate that Ricky will be on next week.
Ricky Hay, who plays Kenny.
Kenny will be here live starting at 10
next week already.
Huh?
I said, is that next week already? Like,
yeah,
I didn't realize October 1st.
I know. Yeah, it's going to be the 1st. So he will be. We can ask him all the Kenny questions. So if you want to send a question to Ricky, you can either do so at one of our social medias, either at X, Twitter, whatever the heck you want to call it, which is basically the same thing, just with Sci-Fi Vision as the name. But on any of those, or just comment at the video like everybody's doing right now, and we will see the questions and can relay them to him. But yeah,
great.
Is there anything else? I think we've kind of covered everything.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think it's time to move on to
Jasmine's glad he's gonna be there. We're glad he's gonna be here too. We're excited. And like I said before, for anybody who came in late, you can watch it's gonna tangent Elizabeth Moy's interview. If you go back to last week on YouTube, you can watch the stream. All right. Well, thank you everybody who joined us for Lost specifically. We do talk about other shows on here. So we're going from see that's
funny.
Which, by the way, 20th anniversary of Lost. In case anybody didn't know that.
Oh yeah, September 22nd. It was
the whole documentary thing coming out. But anyway, we talk about things besides from. So we will be talking about some other shows tonight. But
so stay with us.
Top of the hour, stay with us, please. But at the top of the hour next week is when Ricky Hay will be here. But yeah, we have to talk about tonight. If you didn't hear the very beginning of my conversation, the Arc, Snowpiercer, Agatha All Along, Wynonna Earp Vengeance, anything else we think of along the way, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so all right. Well, I guess we want to move on to the Arc then. Thank you again, guys, for coming. We appreciate it. I know a lot of you came over from the From group. From the From group.
Stick around or come back next week. We're going to jump into the Arc.
Stick around. Maybe we'll talk about something you watch or might start watching. Talked about
it. Might find a new show you like. So okay, the Arc. What all this episode was so sad. I thought parts of it.
Yeah. I guess it was kind of sad. I mean, I have some things
I guess I was more saddened by the ending, I guess, was what saddened me. We don't need to talk about the ending yet. I'm jumping the gun, but yeah, I thought this was another interesting episode. I know Arc had said that God, what is wrong with me today? That the actress plays Garnett had said that this episode, and I think she said the next one too, right? With 10 and 11, we're gonna
9 and 10, we're gonna turn the show.
Oh, 9 and 10. Okay, yeah, because this definitely changes a lot. I think it's interesting because we talked last week about could we ever see her and Lane's clone become closer because they didn't have that relationship and that there was no time to build it. I thought about Karen saying that last week, and I thought, well, this is a way they build the relationship by giving them that time. I thought was kind of funny and interesting. Oh, slice of horror. Well, hello. Thank you. We met at the round table. Well, thank you for coming at any rate.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that about that? I thought about your comment. That's what made me say it, because that was exactly what we were talking about. And I'm like, okay, well, they gave them all this time. Now they've known each other for a long time. I'm not sure if that's a shortcut or not, though, in a way. I feel like it maybe works just because we already know the actors have chemistry, so I can buy it. But it is kind of a shortcut a little bit.
Well, I don't see it as a shortcut necessarily the way you mean it. I don't think. You know what? I mean, because the very end of the episode, I think, is the really telling part. When she goes in and she looks at the picture of Lane, and changes him to deceased and starts crying and everything, and she says, "It should have been you." So, how much of it is because of Ian, and how much of it is because he looks like the guy she had feelings for, and it's only the two of them.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like if there's another option there, and even if Bryce is there.
No, you could be right. I question though how she could throw away that many years. That's what I found sad.
Well, but how? I mean, I don't know. We're going to need more information next week. I mean, obviously they remember everything, but is it going to be like a dream? Is it going to fade as they spend more time out of that shared coma?
I don't know. It didn't seem to fade for him, but she's having issues.
Well, okay, it was 5 minutes.
They're remembering both times, I think. I got that impression. Like they're kind of feel like they weren't gone, but they feel like they were gone.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think as soon as they got back, she, was like, oh my god. Like I feel like she almost feel like she was betrayed. Like she immediately pulls her hand away. She's obviously already having regrets because Lane immediately comes back to her forefront. I think it's going to be interesting. I just hope they don't. It's going to happen, but I hope they don't belabor it. Where Ian's like, "Come on, Sharon, you got to admit that this, that, and the other thing. We spent an entire lifetime together, even though it was only a couple hours. And I just hope they don't push the issue with him too much, because then it just becomes cliche."
So I felt, God, we're getting a whole bunch of comments on this in our chat, I think. That
was my reply that we see 5 times. That's all.
I like how they bookended it with the funeral of Lane in the beginning, and that kind of sets it all off. And then in the end, when we get back to Garnett saying like, "Oh, it should have been you," I liked that. I felt like while I was watching it, like we've seen, like people like blooping into at first I thought maybe they were out of phase. Like in Star Trek, people are always out of phase, right? And they're like in an alternate, right? They're out of phase and they're walking around an empty ship and they're just out of phase and everybody else is like, where are they? It happens all the time on Star Trek. And I thought that might be the case. Or did they, an alternate, whatever. And then it, turns out that it was only after Dr. Dr. Marsh gets back that they start to notice that their brains are phased up and like, are they in a dream together? I kind of, liked how they did a good job, I think, with the passage of time. And we see them like she and Ian are, now they're left alone. They become friends. Now they have their first kiss. Now he proposes to her because randomly somebody put a wedding gown in the like save stuff from Earth box or whatever. but forgot to put a wedding ring in.
It could have just been a really nice white dress.
Yeah, they marry each other. They grow older and older, which look, I didn't think the show doesn't have a ton of money for effects, but they like pulled together a prosthetic budget, except for that. Except for that.
That part was a little weird. But I keep thinking like it's sweet now, but I kind of, now that I think about it, see AJ's point of view though, is a lot of it that it was just them. Like if there was other people there, would that have ever happened, even if they were stuck there, X amount of years? I still feel like you would not necessarily want to throw that away. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of wondering if their mind is split. Like she may feel like she was only gone a day, and she may also feel like she was gone that much time. So it's probably hard to.
I mean, so I agree that I was like, when I noticed what they were doing, I was like, oh, this is shortcutting there. Like, I cannot believe if they were gonna like cut off Elaine, Elaine and Garnett. I never saw. Did I say this already? I never really saw that much chemistry between Lane and Garnett, but it was on the page. It was clear from the plotting, so I could accept that it was happening. I wasn't really against it. To not give us any of it, but then to fast forward an Ian relationship, I would feel really shortchanged. If they suddenly are going to be like, yeah, we spent all this time together, we think we're in love, and just be together.
Right.
Especially like
to open our eyes to it.
Especially when the beginning of the episode was that she couldn't even stand to look at him because she misses Lane so much, right?
Yeah.
And she's only just really about to show it to us and come to terms with it, and now they're gonna like do this. I don't know. I could be really pissed off about where this goes. Or to AJ's point at the end when Garnett's like, it should have been you. Is she not falling for it? Right?
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a situation where Garnett is not in it, and Ian's going to be all in, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. I just hope they don't harp on it too much or too long.
Yeah, me too. I'm not. I don't know how I mean, if it ends up fast forwarding that we don't have to have a lengthy period of tension, and it helps to just integrate him into the crew and get him a job and we can move along, given that there's only 2 episodes left. Okay. I'm down with that. Right. It's a way to like diffuse their relationship and make it more cordial. But I don't like.
Now they're 12 or 13.
Maybe there's 3 left. Maybe the promo at the end said 2 more episodes, but sometimes they write 2 more episodes
for the finale.
For the last episode.
They do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that.
Yeah,
because it's very confusing.
Yeah,
that's just.
I mean, it did give us a bit of like this, like Bryce having to be in charge kind of thing, which apparently from this picture, it was driving him to drink, I guess.
Yeah, Bryce did not like being in charge. And it's like he kept forgetting that he was in charge. Like everybody had to keep reminding him, like, hey, you're in charge. You don't have to like be here. Like go do some stuff that you need. And then he's just like, I think that was the problem. He didn't want to be in charge. He didn't know. He doesn't mind being told by Garnett, okay, go do this, go do that, because then he has a goal. When he has to make, you can tell he does not like making the decisions because he doesn't know where to start.
Yeah.
Well, and he can't, but then he also couldn't let other people, like, there was that scene where Ava's like, could you please go micromanage somebody else and let us do our job?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and then he, it's only after he talks to Angus that he goes around, he comes to Dr. Kabir and he's like, I trust you completely. Do whatever you need to do.
Well, he's good with the pep talks. He always has been.
Yeah. Yeah. And guess who needed a pep talk in this episode? We had a discussion last week about, is Alicia going to turn up pregnant? But it's not going to happen if they don't start having some better sex first, right?
Hey, Aaron, not for nothing. It doesn't have to be good sex to have a baby.
Yeah, people get pregnant from bad sex all the time. I guess that makes it extra bad sex if you accidentally get pregnant. But they're having some problems with their sex lives, and
well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, was this is a case of two virgins not knowing what the hell's going on, right?
It's both of them
We've
their
established
first
they're
time.
both virgins, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, he gets help from Bryce, so.
Yeah, but he goes and gets some advice from Bryce, and I actually thought, that scene where the door opens and Angus is like all,
That was silly.
and
was...
Elsie says, "What's with the attitude?" I thought where this was going to go was that Bryce's advice was going to turn her off. Like Angus was going to be too much swagger and too much attitude, and Alicia would be like, "Why are you being such a jerk? Get out of here." But that's not what happened.
No.
The Bryce charm works even if it's channeled through a nerd.
Apparently.
This is the second episode in a row where Angus expressed like not being needed anymore. If we had more episodes, I would say we might get a little crisis of confidence in him. Because he pretty much just makes liquor now.
Yeah, something's gonna happen that they need him for sure.
He could be the bartender.
Yeah, he's the new Guinan.
There you go. No, Guinan gave good advice. He's the one that needs it.
Yeah, Guinan and Neelix both gave advice. Yeah, he needs it. Yeah. So overall, not a ton of story to talk about because it was mostly consumed with this like accelerated romance.
It was definitely character development on their part, or relationship development, whatever you want to call it.
Well, you know what else? It was a small part of it. It was a little, I guess, kind of rushed in the way things. This was the whole episode was about rushing things, but Kavir, she got a big confidence boost after losing after losing Lane. She had to operate on Marsh and take the control device out of his head.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that was I don't have a photo of that, but that was a big
that was a big deal
storyline that he like forgot to mention. Oh yeah, I allowed Maddox to put.
He didn't forget.
Me also. Like what? You forgot to mention that you also have implants, and there's one in your brain. Also,
well, no, he doesn't have. Well, technically, he doesn't have the implants anymore. Just the control module in his head, which turned out to be a mind control module.
Yeah, and so and that was causing.
Right? And Trask was like, "Yeah, I kind of know about it. I designed it."
Yeah, that's what was causing the dream.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear Trask say though.
Trust.
Trask. I know you call him Trask. I do that too.
I know. I keep saying Trask just rolls off the tongue.
It's X-Men, right? Trust.
Yeah. Trust. I was shocked to hear Trust say that he shut the program down. Like I was surprised.
He doesn't really appear to have limits, right?
Yeah. Something he actually started that he thought, you know what, might not be a good idea. And Maddox is like, silly, I'll take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what? You said Maddox will take care of it. You mean Trust?
Yes, Trust.
No, Maddox.
Yeah.
When Maddox took over the company, she restarted the program.
Oh, I thought you meant, never mind. I thought you meant in this episode. I couldn't figure out what
no.
I'm like, Maddox wasn't in. I get it now. Never mind. I thought you meant she was in this episode and you were confusing me very badly. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right.
So that's what was causing the dream. And while it was in Dr. Marsh's head, I mean, I feel really what drove this dream was because Garnet misses Lane so much, her brain created this like way of being with Lane kind of, right? Like her brain creates this. I feel like it all came from her. Like somehow the mind control device in Marsh's head picked up her very strong emotion about this. And the whole thing, I feel, was spun out of Garnet's head. Because I don't think Dr. Marsh was causing it, right? And
I kind of look at it as just kind of like a shared delusion. But yeah, I guess probably one of them needs to be driving it, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think Sharon's really strong, like sense of loss created this like sort of fantasy land of being with Lane, but not being with Lane. I don't know. That's my theory. I don't know if it's ever going to be like investigated, but because it looks like next week they're coming up on Trappist already.
Well, we're getting near the end of the season.
It's making me wonder if, do you think this show, they're ever going to find a planet, or this show is always going to have them in space?
I mean, the show's called The Ark.
Yeah.
You know what? Well,
yeah.
All right. Let's put it this way. There was a show once upon a time called The 100, and they found a planet, and it worked for them for a while.
And then they went back in space, and then they went back to Earth, to a planet.
So, I mean, I think it's plausible that, the dynamic of the show changes if you find a planet. But, I mean, they could get to this planet, and who knows? Maybe Maddox and everybody isn't there, and the planet's on fire. Who knows? You know? Like, maybe they show up, and Maddox says, "Seize them." Who the hell knows? What do you brought the Eastern Federation with you? Are you crazy? Arrest them all. You know, who knows?
No,
and they say,
not going to happen.
And we have a prison break, and they all have to hightail it back to space.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see.
Find out.
Only 2 more left before the last one.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
All right. Agatha?
No. Can we hold Agatha for a minute?
Okay.
Fine.
Because I'm still because I forgot to. I'm just putting the pictures up into the.
You forgot to watch it?
No, I watched it. I forgot to download pictures about it.
Oh. Well, you guys could talk about Wynonna.
Okay, let's talk about. Let me get to Wynonna.
Is that what I was
talk about Wynonna Earp Vengeance for a minute?
Yeah, I wanted to hold Snowpiercer till the end since it's the finale. And
okay, that's fine. All right. So everybody, I had kind of mentioned before about it. What do you think about it? Let me ask you, Karen, since you've finally seen it now.
I liked this enough. I thought it was pretty good. I have some issues with some things that happened, right? That I don't love, but what are you gonna do? And it was great to have the whole gang back together. I really enjoyed seeing everybody again. I said to you over text, I thought it had a fairly definitive ending, and I don't really need to see more, but you said that there might be plans to do more.
I don't know. And everybody can watch my interview with Emily Andress, and you can see what she said about it. I'm just kind of like, why did they kill that? I was upset about Doc. I wanted to continue. I want to see what happens with that. I do feel like they kind of implied he could come back. I don't know. I mean, to me, the show is him and Wynonna, so I was upset about that. I mean, I get it. And then when she told me it was Tim's idea, I'm like, what the hell? I'm thinking, what did you do, Tim? No. Because, he wanted to do something big. And I get it. It does give a reason for it to come back. If it comes back, will it come back? I don't know. I mean, it has to get enough views and everything for it to come back. But regardless of the ending, me not necessarily agreeing with that. I like the rest of it. I mean, I feel like it felt like a, extra long episode of the series. It felt like it did before. The one-liners and that, although they could be have a little worse language in there and, or sex and violence, that kind of thing. But, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I would like to see more. I think a lot of people would. I get your point, though. Sometimes they drag things on too long, so I can understand that. But me personally, I would be very happy if they would make more. I know that there's an Audible audio series coming, but it's my understanding, I think those stories are like kind of pre-movie, so they're just like one-offs. Or I don't know if they're one-off. I shouldn't say that. I don't know if they're one-off. But I mean, I think they happen in the regular time. Like, they're not affected by this. They're not like post movie or anything like that. I think they're special, not movie. I believe that it's they fit in before this, but yeah, I mean, I think it did a good job, and it kind of showed where they're at and more about their relationship and why they're having issues and that kind of thing. I would have liked to have seen something resolved about Alice if they were going to not come back.
Really?
Because I feel like, I don't know. He finally at the end, he said, "I'd be happy for us just to go get a little place and be with her, and we don't have to have all this money. We don't have to have this big place." And I feel like they should have talked about this and done this before. Like, that's what I wish they had done. But it is what it is. But I also like the idea of like her being the deputy, and the fact of maybe Waverly going off to Black Badge. Although I thought Waverly couldn't leave the Ghost River Triangle. So I don't know if I'm forgetting something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I like everything they did. I think it was fun, as their show always is. It had its silly moments, but I mean, that's what Wynonna is. It's not super serious. So that's not a bad thing. It was entertaining. I liked it. And to your point that you made to me on text, I hadn't thought about is they did get rid of her demon killing gun, Peacemaker. But again, I mean, if it's right now residing with Doc, I feel like if Doc comes back, the gun can come back. And I mean, I guess they do need the gun. The gun's kind of like, yeah, that's like a big thing, but I still would think there's ways to bring it back. But I don't know. My main thing when I watched it, which was my big question to Emily, is, I mean, that line in the show about it's not just with, now I don't even remember what the line is because it's been weeks, but less like a reboot, or less like a reunion and more like a reboot, I think is what they say.
Really?
There's a line. Yeah, there's a line in it. I think I feel like the line was definitely stuck in there for fans to be like, oh my God, they might come back, and hope that they will. That's what I feel like. Does that mean they will? I don't know. The only way it's going to come back is if it gets a lot of views on Tubi. So people, if you want it to come back, Emily did say that, watch it. I mean, there's always a possibility. It seems like everybody is happy to bring it back. If it can get made, they'll be there. But I don't know. I just think it was fun. I liked it. I didn't like the ending because I didn't want Doc to be gone, but that's kind of irrelevant to the issue. That's my issue with it, So.
Yeah, I mean, so I thought it was fun. I enjoyed Wynonna and Doc. They did, like, the storyline is like Wynonna thinks Doc is getting bored with her. Doc thinks Wynonna is getting bored with him. Because he kind of is like done with the hijinks and wants to settle down, and Wynonna's got like a scam every week, but it turns out Wynonna maybe is doing these scams every week to try to keep Doc interested, right? So there were not it was difficult for me to find a lot of photographs from this. I don't have anything of the villain Mina. I didn't love the overall storyline, which is like that, that we have to revisit. I mean, I don't mind the storyline was like revisiting Wynonna's lifelong of pain, and that she maybe by the end of it resolves it, and begins to have like Peacemaker's gone, whatever, and she's going to maybe have a normal life in town as much as you can in the Triangle. But I didn't love the whole storyline that it was like a woman from like the group home from Juvie who basically, like, Wynonna accidentally sent her to hell, and she managed to get out now, and she's having this, like, I don't know. I guess it was a little bit of a monster of the week storyline, which I guess that's what the show was for a long time. So I should be okay with it. I guess I expected it to be more of a,
yeah, I get that point that you're making. Yeah, I don't know that it was necessarily my favorite demon. I think that I maybe would have preferred, change the link there, that I maybe would have preferred something that was connected to the old story, maybe a little bit. But at the same time, I think they wanted new viewers to understand it. So they did that. But yeah, I agree. The fact that it was a demon that she kind of made accidentally, I don't know if that was my favorite choice. I mean, it worked. Yeah. But I could have, I was kind of upset Mercedes died, though. I know she isn't like a huge character, but I always loved Mercedes. She was awesome. I was sad that they killed her, but they did need something big to kind of jumpstart it. So I totally understand it. I just was not happy with that death.
I didn't like Mercedes being killed in the first 5 minutes, but I kind of loved that the demon like ripped her whole body into parts.
Yeah,
and
that was awful. I mean, awful in a gross way.
Let me finish that it ripped up her whole body, wrote the word Earp, and then that became the opening title credit.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of cool. I didn't get a picture. I only have this. I couldn't find a picture of Mercedes' legs made into the word Earp. Waverly and Nicole, I forgot until I was watching this. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that those two like basically have a ton of sex in every single episode.
That's true.
About that.
That is true.
And they're awfully cute. I mean, I did like, their storyline mirrors Wynonna and Doc's in the sense that Waverly like is a little bored. Now that there are no demons to fight, and Waverly has this offer to join Jeremy at Black Badge, and she's not going to do it. And then Wynonna just like busts on in there and is like, Nicole, you're holding her back. And, and she advises her, like, it's really bad advice. She's like, oh, well, your marriage can survive it. You can be separated for what? Like Wynonna.
You're not the one to give them relationship advice, Wynonna.
That's what she needs to butt out of other people's marriage. She's been gone for maybe a couple years and needs to butt out of other people's marriages that she doesn't know anything about.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But they're all friends again by the end. I would love, so maybe like it would be fun to see a show where Wynonna is the deputy sheriff, except that without Peacemaker and not shooting revenants, then it's just a small town cop show and it's kind of not the same show.
Yeah.
It's boring. There would have to be something that happens that she has to find a way to get Peacemaker back without.
Well, that's why I like that Peacemaker's been buried with Doc, because that way if they bring Peacemaker back, they kind of got to bring Doc back. Like there would be no reason to do one without
Peacemaker. Peacemaker is in that little trap that is buried with Doc.
Yes, but the trap is buried with him. But my point is I don't know that it would make sense to have a story where they dig up his grave in order to dig up that trap, but yet he stays there. I'm just saying, like, I think that if they did one, they would do the other just because it is the way I would think it would
really
be. I think that's what I envision anyway.
I think after being something like 240 years old, maybe Angel was 240. Doc is only like 179 years old, but whatever. Like I think let me finish. I think that after having like this difficult and painful life, and he finally finds peace at the end, and in his last moments, he and Wynonna are like, totally on the same page. He loves her. He knows he's loved. Like I would be fine if Doc was able to rest in peace.
Yeah, I see that side of it too. And that's why I said that's more just my issue with I don't want him not to be in the show,
Maybe there's a holiday heir out there somewhere.
Yeah, that's true too, yeah.
I'm sure Doc made a lot of children while he was a human.
Yeah, that's true, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, whether it actually comes back is kind of irrelevant because we really don't know at this point. But yeah, I definitely get your point. I mean, he was at peace and that was the one thing he wanted. And I mean, to some extent before he was ready to go, it's just, he met Wynonna and fell in love and was willing to stay. But I also see that side of it. But I guess my thing is more if they do have another series, I don't know that I would want to see it without him because a lot of it to me is like their banter. Like that's what I enjoy a lot is their relationship. So if they do more, I would definitely want him to come back. Can I accept this if it ends? Yeah. But if they come back, I would hope that they would bring everybody back. But, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I think the way it ended, it really could have been setting up a Black Badge spinoff.
Yeah, it could. That would work too. And I agree with you. I think seeing Wynonna's deputy would be fun too. But yeah, if there's no revenants, what's the point? Like you have to have the demons, or it's not Wynonna Earp, I guess. So
yeah, what's the point with no demons?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure if it gets enough watches that they want to put the money into it to bring it back, I'm sure that Emily will figure out a way to do something to make it work. So, but anyway, just to mention again, if you haven't, the interview with Melanie and Tim, as well as Emily, is up at our YouTube page. If you haven't watched it, make sure you check it out. All right. Well, you want to go to Agatha all along now? Unless you have something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
right. Okay. Wait, hang on. I just went out of my way to do this.
I don't have your picture yet. We got a picture from Disney, huh?
Yeah, I have a few pictures from Disney. So I actually rewatched, after speaking with Jamie, I rewatched the last 2 episodes of WandaVision to remind me of where we were and what to expect out of all of this. So I'm gonna.
Well, real quick.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch both or only one? Because I only watched one.
Oh, then we'll only talk about one, and we'll let you lead the discussion then, because I don't want us to go too far. The first episode is the one where Agatha is Agnes,
the cop,
the lead cop in a TV show, right? Which is very WandaVision-esque.
Yeah, it moved away from
that.
I feel that it doesn't seem like it's going to continue to be in that vein. Did you want it to be? Like, I kind of was glad.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it's going to be, what kind of vein it's going to be in, but I really thought that I enjoyed the first episode.
I did too. I
liked that the opening credits was actually the opening credit of the TV show. Yeah, I thought that was kind of I was extremely shocked at Disney. I think Disney is finally saying, you know what? We're just going to sit back and relax and let our TV shows do what they're going to do, because we got Agatha Butt. I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
I was very surprised by that. I was like, what the hell?
That's right. So we don't
very
have
un-Disney-like.
We have a photo of that, all the photos. So typical of Disney. Remember the Acolyte? Remember on the Acolyte, every single press photo was like pitch black and you couldn't see what the hell was going on in every picture?
Yeah.
Like, this is the brightest picture we got this week. But
that was a great scene though, when she was kind of ripping through the different personas that she's played while Wanda was wreaking havoc on Westville.
Yeah. We got her. She has this person who's like, is this person from the state police?
She's FBI, I think. Isn't she?
During the cop show, she's FBI.
Yeah, during the cop show.
Well, I guess that's true. She might not be.
She turns out to be, like, throughout this episode, I'm like, oh, she's a witch. She's trying to release Agnes from the spell, right? Like Agatha at the end of WandaVision, Wanda like took her power, like confined her to live inside Westview. Took her powers, and she couldn't use her powers because of the rune set up, and she was just gonna have to live inside the spell forever. And this woman, it was clear, was trying to like break her free and be like, don't you remember? And she kind of remembers, and then we get like a whole bunch of like mayhem happening in her house, right? And we had a lot of interrogation of this guy, whose name I can't remember.
Because I have his name.
Yeah, I don't remember what the name was, but you know what was really funny? I love it when
he doesn't have a name because it's.
Yeah, I don't think he had a name.
You can't tell her his name.
When she opened the closet, and she's like, "Oh, I guess the arrest was more of a kidnapping."
Yeah.
I guess.
AJ,
sorry, go ahead.
AJ, have you read the Agatha? There is an Agatha comic, right?
Is there?
I don't know if she ever had her own stand.
I read there was one.
I'm familiar with Agatha, as far as the Scarlet Witch goes.
But I don't think she has her.
She ever, At
least from what I had heard, I don't think she does. But so I
Yeah.
guess the whole point of this is her trying to get back on Witch's Road and eventually get her powers back. My main question I have for you guys is about the last scene. So I don't know. I'm like jumping ahead. I'm like, wait till we get there, Jamie.
Yeah. So I want to just confirm, I did a little Googling. This boy is credited as teen. He apparently may never get a
There you go.
name. He definitely doesn't have a name yet. He might never get a name. And so the people that we have met in this episode, we met Teen, we met Agatha, and we met Rio. Her name is Rio, right? I believe.
Yeah, Rio. Yeah, Rio.
Rio. I think those are all and we met like the neighbors and the people around town, right?
And the ones
And
that she's taken on the road.
I'm gonna have to take AJ. I mean, we had like the mystery of the book.
Well, it's the Darkhold.
The Darkhold, yeah, which is, which she didn't know at the time. But AJ, where does it end?
I don't remember.
I noticed that.
I think how it ended.
It ends with them going down into where the road is. Oh,
No,
that's the first one. I'm sorry.
AJ, you watched two. I mean, Jamie, you watched 2 episodes.
Yeah, I know. I just realized you meant the first one.
Yeah, of course you meant the first one.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Ended.
Rio leaves, says the witches are coming. Rio leaves, says that of course she's got to tell about the witches are coming to get her. Sees the kid in the closet.
Yeah, I think I think what happens is that so the last thing is like the fight with Rio, right? And then Agatha talks her out of it, and it's like, don't kill me, let's go on the road and I'll meet you at sundown. This show seemed a little.
Well, she actually said she could, she said she didn't really say, please don't kill me. She said, you can't kill me. Like, she knows she can't kill her.
Yeah, she's not allowed to.
Yeah. She's not allowed to kill her.
Right? Yeah. So none of this happens in any of the Scarlet Witch series, right? Agatha doesn't have her own set of comics, so this is all like beyond the subject material. Although this may end up leading into a movie, like WandaVision really set up Scarlet Witch's appearance in that terrible Miss Marvel movie, right? No, which one is she in? Is she in Scarlet Witch is in
Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah. Like it kind of sets up Wanda's appearance as the Scarlet Witch in Multiverse of Madness. So is this going to set up
the end of that
thing?
Because that kind of bookends it, really.
I mean, I love Catherine Hahn and I love Aubrey Plaza, right?
Yes.
And also in this cast, Patti LuPone, it's been talked about that Patti LuPone is in this cast. Ali Ahn is in this cast also. She was in The Diplomat, which, we loved her in The Diplomat. We didn't maybe love, Next was kind of a, problem of a show that we tried to love. But, I mean, I love Ali Ahn, and so I'm looking forward to seeing her in this show also. And, I mean, how can Patti LuPone not be great? And there are some other great people in it also. Deborah Jo Rupp is in it, who plays the neighbor next door. Emma Caulfield is in it, who was Anya. I mean, she's, I think, got a guest appearance, but Emma Caulfield is going to be in it, who was Anya on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're just great, great people cast in it that I really, really want to see, and I'm willing to give.
Isn't Emma Caulfield the one from Deadpool? Or am I mixing up who she is? I'm trying to look.
No, Emma Caulfield was on Buffy She played Anya on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
People then.
But
I'm definitely mixing up people.
And she was, she was in WandaVision. She's like reprising a role from WandaVision. Anyway, this episode I thought was kind of weird, and like I'm not sure where this show is going. And it's an interesting show that, so Marvel has spun off a bunch of characters that are not major in the comics, right? But I don't know, but doesn't Agatha seem like one of the most minor of minor characters they're spinning off?
Yeah, but it seems like it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that she's a villain. Well, I mean, I guess technically Wanda was kind of
she's definitely a villain.
But yeah, but she's this. I mean, Agatha's a villain. It makes it maybe a little more interesting. We'll see. I like it. I thought going into the first episode when we saw the detective show that each episode was going to be a different, genre type thing. And that's what I was saying. I'm guessing because they didn't do that in the second episode that they're probably not going to. I kind of hope they don't. I mean, I think it was cool that they did it in WandaVision, but I think it was kind of gimmicky. Like not that it wasn't good, but I don't know that I
Well, it fits the story, and that's why this made sense.
But I don't think we get it every week in this story.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But
I mean, I appreciate that maybe just Agatha was so well received in WandaVision and was such a a welcome character until maybe the very end it went a little bit off the rails, but that I'm glad to see Marvel capitalizing on something that worked instead of maybe they have in the past capitalized on things that I'm like, really? What? Okay, we don't really need the story, but it's more fun than some other things they've done. And it's more fun than Disney trying to make stuff up and make us believe in the Acolyte.
Well, it could be interesting because it could be leading into something that we don't see coming. You know what I mean? It could connect. It might just be fun and not connect outside of what happened in WandaVision, and it could just be fun. Or it could lead into something bigger.
Yes. Yeah. And now you guys know that I'm not really down with the magical, mystical side of the Marvel universe. And I don't really like the magic stuff. I don't, I'm
she doesn't have her powers, so there you go.
What?
I said she doesn't have her powers, so there you go.
No, but magic to me is not powers. To me, magic is not the same as superhero powers. And I don't love, I don't love Doctor Strange. I especially don't love Multiverse of Madness, but, Wanda, when I thought she was an X-Men mutant, with powers, I'm more down with her than when she's just a full-on witch descended from Salem or whatever. So I'm borderline on the stuff, but I liked. It took me, remember, I didn't like the first few episodes of WandaVision. It took me a while to get into WandaVision. I didn't like the genre of the week concept. And it took me a while to get into Wanda, but I liked it in the end. And I did love Catherine Hahn. So seeing her having a starring vehicle, I'm all in on that.
Yeah. But you like Harry Potter.
But Harry Potter isn't never meets the X-Men. Right? It's a genre
but it's just magic.
And everything else where you don't need it.
It's just magic. I just want my superhero universe to be normal superhero powers, whether they came from the planet Krypton or from radiation or from genetic mutation.
But your superhero people know people with magic.
Yes, and I don't like it. And I don't like it. I don't like magic mashed up with superheroes.
I don't know though. I never took Doctor Strange's magic the same way as I do their magic because
he's literally magic.
No. But I mean, his a lot. Well, I guess not all, but I was gonna say a lot of it comes from the stone, but it doesn't all come from that, so that's not accurate.
I just don't feel that
No, I get what you mean.
That Magneto's power is magic, or that Deadpool doesn't really have. Well, he can't die, right? That's not magic. Wolverine is not magic. Superman is not magic. I know, different universe, not Marvel. Iron
DC
Man
has magic too.
Who?
I said the DC universe has lots of magic.
I know. I'm not into it. Okay, I'm just
Sarah does not like magic and her superheroes.
I don't like. I like magic to stay with magic. Anyway, but I do, this show now is only about magic. So I don't think they're going to run into Vision or Captain America on the Witch's Road. So I can be all in on a magic show that's about magic.
Okay.
Although probably at the end she's going to be invited to join S.H.I.E.L.D. or some shit like that. So.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I don't see that either, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So, going on to, and again, this is the end of the second one, but it's what I wanted to ask you.
No, AJ hasn't watched the second episode
you
yet.
haven't? Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood that. I didn't realize you hadn't. Never mind.
That's why we were only talking about the first episode.
I missed you say that at the beginning. I was probably because I was looking up that from link and I didn't hear you say it. I'm sorry. It's okay. I won't ask. We'll talk about it next week.
The second episode I enjoyed more than the first episode.
I did too.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news because I really enjoyed the first episode. So.
Well, the first episode, the story is just barely a lot of it's devoted to the fantasy that she is trapped in.
Yeah.
Right. So now with the end of episode 1, in episode 2, we can get going on the story. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all righty. So we'll bring it up next week. In the meantime,
both episodes on next week, right? 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'll get caught up.
We'll do 2 and 3 next week because we won't have to watch Snowpiercer anymore. Okay, I've been waiting to talk to you guys.
Some issues with this episode.
Yeah,
I think you already know some of them because I complained about them doing text. Issue number 1, which I know AJ had issue. They didn't do anything about Wilford. He's just gone. That was annoying. But I think at least I kind of figured that was going to happen. But I know AJ didn't like that. The things I took the biggest issue with is 1, Nima at like the 11th hour decides, okay, I will agree with you. And he just stands there and dies. That part I thought was really lazy writing. The other part that I didn't like, and this is what I said to you, Karen, that to me made absolutely no sense, is that like 3/4 of the way through the episode, the crazy doctor, I can't remember what we call her, but the crazy doctor.
Dr. Quackers.
Dr. Quackers. Okay. Well, Dr. Quackers tells him that it sounds like she did bring somebody back from the dead. I thought maybe it was going to be Wilfred or it was going to be Milius. I didn't know, but it's kind of like it was just dropped. Why even say it? What was the point? The show's not coming back.
It
like
was
if there was another
soldier.
season, yeah, but I just don't see the point. It seemed like a loose thread to me.
Yes,
and really like not needed. Those were my main concerns. The rest of the episode was okay. I mean, I didn't mind the way they ended it. At least it had a mostly happy ending. I mean, they don't find a solution, but it's like more of a happy, I guess, outlook on a possible solution. So I was okay with that. But those were my big issues.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, before you speak, can I just say how much I really like Till's sweater in this episode, but it only works for a girl with like a small bust, and I don't think I could wear that sweater. But I would almost learn how to knit cable to make that sweater. It was so cool.
I was extremely underwhelmed by this episode. I feel let down. I agree with everything Jamie said. I've been saying for weeks, Nima is an awful villain. I'm sorry. What I don't understand what they were doing this season. Like Nima, yeah, like Jamie said at the 12th hour, he's like, "Oh, Melanie, you're right. Okay, I'm gonna run. I sacrificed myself for what? I don't know. He just kills himself. It's not even a sacrifice. He just kills himself.
Well, he doesn't know that it's not going to work.
Doesn't matter if it's going to work or not. He's frozen already.
Yeah.
It could have worked, and it didn't matter because he's frozen.
Yeah.
He was just an awful choice for a villain. He was awful. He could have, he could have played the little role he played the whole time, and it would have been fine. I think Milius would have been a much stronger, more compelling villain right through to the end. You do that scene with Milius, it is completely different. It plays completely different, and it can still have the same outcome because Alex can still pull the pin on the door, so the door falls off in flight. That was a really good idea by her.
Yeah.
But it just, oh God, it was so weak. Like, the whole episode was just like, I kept waiting for something to happen. Like, the fight scenes were great. I enjoyed the fight scenes. I loved the open. I had such high hopes. The way it started, I liked the multi-character opening lines, and and then they get to the end of it, and instead of Snowpiercer, blah blah blah, how many cars long, it cuts to Leighton saying one train. I thought that was so cool the way they did that. That was brilliant. I had such high hopes. Like, oh, the episode's already starting off with a bang. I was like, always start with the tail and work our way to the front. Like, it had everything it needed for a really great episode. Wilford actually being dead was ridiculous. I'm sorry. Wilford does not give up. And Artie's like, oh, but Leighton was bloodthirsty and had a gun in his face. So what? Ain't the first time. Wilford doesn't just say, hey, let me smoke a poison blunt, please. Like, so weak. Milius's death was weak, leaving us with Dima, who in his death was weak. And I mean, not that it would take much to overcome him. Any one of them could have flicked him in the nose and he would have given up. I like the happy ending. I was okay with the happy ending. I feel kind of cheated that nobody died. Nobody died. Everybody survived. Every single person except for the bad guys survived. Even Dr. Quacker survived because she freaked out, and apparently Josie does have feelings because she felt bad for her. I feel like
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think that you would. I'm getting some feedback here. I didn't think you would hate it quite this much. I did love the multi-voice voiceover. I thought the episode was really strong in the car-to-car fight. Like, I loved bringing it back to season 1 where they were fighting car by car. And even Till says something like, car by car, we only have 1 hour to go 40 cars. And Andre's like, we can do it. Or Ruth was like, we can do it. I really loved, Ruth gets taken hostage and then she gets away. And did you see when Ruth was leading the fighters and she stabbed right through that guy with a sword? Yeah. And I mean, I just think Ruth's story arc across the 4 seasons was the greatest. She had the most growth, the most change, and the most, the character that I liked the most almost from the first day. I do love Allison Ray. I thought her, and then going to being the mayor, I just loved every scene that she was in this episode. I liked a lot of that. I agree with you that, and Jamie's being a little quiet now. We'll get back to Jamie in a second, but I agree with you that I don't love that they went through 3 or 4 villains in this season, and having one villain, having Milius killed by Wilford was not. I mean, maybe, it's in Wilford's character, but I felt like, wasn't it really Andre's right as a character to be, or anyone else's right to, be able to kill him? And then to have Wilford kill himself and Nima kill himself. And Nima really was the worst. I kind of get maybe trying to make scientists be the ultimate villain because they caused this, maybe. But it was a waste of Wilford, right? And then to have Nima then also kill himself and no villains get killed. We don't get that catharsis as an audience. And yet nobody died this season except Ben, who was awesome. And his death was earned and was cool in the sense of storytelling. But to have nobody die. Like we talked about.
That was it. We got Milius. You forgot about him.
Well, but he was killed by Wilfred, which was very unsatisfying in a lot of
No, I
ways.
agree. Yeah, I definitely feel it's unsatisfying. I mean, I had kind of already accepted it because I just was at the point I didn't think they were going to come back around with it as much as AJ did. I just, just kind of assumed that was going to happen. So I had already, I guess, gotten over it. But I agree, it wasn't satisfying. And I said, I think a lot of this episode, the writing was lazy as well. Overall, I didn't mind. Like I said, I didn't mind it as an ending, but I think it could have been a lot better.
Well, and I think Josie letting Hedwig go was kind of underplayed. Like we did, like she's hell bent on revenge, and then she lets Hedwig go, and she's like, "I'm sorry, Andre, I let you go when you needed me most." But yet there was no point where Andre was like, "Oh, I wish Josie was here. We could really use her.
Miss her.
This is when I need her most." Right? Like, there's she wasn't even really missed in the fight, and she just lets Hedwig go because Hedwig is pathetic, which I get it. By the way, can you guys see on the dashboard that I named this picture Nut Jobs?
No. I didn't look in the files, but
and I saved the file. I called it Nut Jobs. But that Josie lets her go because she's pathetic, and I get that. Like, is it important for Josie's character that she's able to show compassion? Maybe.
Yes.
Like, okay, yes, it is. But this one, like, they had this really weird part of the storyline where she might have brought someone back to life, which is so far out of the realm of this show completely, right? Like, I'm like, wait, like, is somebody writing an episode of, like, also writing for Walking Dead on the side, and they got confused about what, what? Like, how is it that even happened?
I don't know, but I think it was worse because they didn't pick it up because it was so random, and it just, like, they dropped it.
It shouldn't be near the show at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's this person in the back, the rat, is the person she brought back, right?
No, they're looking at the person.
Oh, Rat is the woman, right? Rat comes in behind.
No, they're looking. Nima is looking at the person in this picture.
Oh, he's looking at this person.
Yes.
Yeah, who doesn't have a rat?
I thought maybe it was Milius, but I because
they did kind of drop it. Like, it's the person that Leighton fought, that Leighton and Boki fought.
Yeah.
But it, like, did she bring him back from the dead? I mean, that's the assumption, considering I'm pretty sure he was the one laying in the snow, and she's like,
yeah.
That's when I was like, holy crap, they're crazy for each other.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that felt like, I feel like there's a deleted scene somewhere that would help that whole thing.
Yeah,
but it was so.
It seems like they forgot they left it in. Like, they decided we're not going to go this route, and then they forgot to take it out. That's what.
I mean, that's really unlikely. That like doesn't happen.
It is. That's what it feels like.
I think that. What was I about to say about it? It was so jarring to me that it, like, took me out of the story. Like, in an already kind of, like, only 50% season finale, it really took me out of the story to be like, no, this is stupid. Like, why am I having to watch this? This is stupid, right? So, yeah, there wasn't a picture, but I liked, so the ending of it was that final scene was meant to be, like, I guess, really emotionally satisfying, right? And, like, Javi gets sort of a happy ending. He's going to go take Snowpiercer. He's still going to
and Sykes
run the train. Sykes is going to go with him. Melanie is reunited with Javi, and they're happy. It looks like Melanie and Alex are going to finally be able to, like, kind of be a little bit normal, maybe.
One thing about that I really liked, and you kind of saw it coming, was throughout the episode, Melanie refuses to leave Alex, which is a long time coming because she always leaves Alex. So it's kind of nice that she finally gets it.
I mean, the premise of the show was that the train left and she thought Alex was dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Till and Audrey are together at the end. Audrey sings, and Oz plays the piano for her at the end. all that kind of worked out kind of nicely. I mean, they never did resolve. We talked last week about what was the Roche storyline, that he was who did he kill to get this uniform? Where did he get the snow? All that was kind of dropped.
Killed the rhino.
The rhino.
Yeah, I think that was kind of just
Yeah, I know.
a MacGuffin.
Yeah,
it didn't really matter, but I agree with you. Yeah, it kind of was weird they left it.
So one of the commenters, so Vulture has a recap, and there was a commenter who mentioned, like, it's really nice to see, how everybody's happy at the end of the episode, but they're in the town, and there's one person from Milius's crew. There's this one woman that Till says, oh, it turns out she's an engineer, and she didn't like Milius either. But weren't there like at least 50 like blue berets on that train who all got gassed? And
I know all those ones that were in the lower
they didn't
level.
wake up.
I kind of wondered.
They didn't what?
They didn't wake up.
Well, I guess there was no like any part of that episode about like learning to live with, like, do they let these people live? Do they let them join the town? Did they? This person mentioned, like, did they drop them off back at the silo and be like, see ya, we're going back to our town, don't ever come back? Like, what? Like, I guess if they had one more episode, that could have been interesting. But really, would it be? Because I think it really needs to end with like winning the battle and then like boom, almost done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's beeping?
I am, and I turned the volume off. And
Stop taking text messages while we're talking.
I'm not. It keeps beeping, even though I turned it off. There, I turned the power thingy off. Now maybe it'll stop. I don't understand why when you have the screen on, sometimes it beeps even when you turn the damn volume off.
And then the flower in the snow as the very last scene.
Oh dear God, was that a flower? That looks like some kid, a child's drawing. Did they forget?
It was supposed to be a flower in the snow. I didn't get that.
Did they forget to finish the CGI?
It was a little kind of a violet growing out of the snow.
It looks animated.
Well, okay, maybe it was fake.
It was CGI'd.
Okay, all right.
Badly.
A lot of this movie was CGI'd.
That's fine, but it was CGI. It's like they threw it in at the last minute, and somebody said, and I wonder, like, they're sitting at home watching the episode with everybody else going, "Oh shit, we forgot to finish the CGI."
Yeah,
that was bad.
Yeah. I mean, the ending, the ending of the movie is a little,
more ambiguous.
Well, only 2 people get off the train, right? They're kids. And then the last thing you see is like there's a polar bear, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that polar bears lived, but a polar bear is one of the few animals that will hunt and eat a human, right?
Yeah.
I think I forgot about that movie.
Which is why it's a more ambiguous ending to the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, I thought the whole season. How did I feel about the whole season? I mean, it's not the strongest of the 4 seasons. 4 seasons,
no.
And they knew it. Like, I'd like to chalk some of this up to, sometimes a show doesn't know they're getting canceled and they have to go and
they knew
stuff. They knew. So yeah, it's a little. I like the series. Overall, I'd recommend it to people to watch, but the 4th season is maybe not the strongest season.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I feel season 4 was good. It could have been better. It wasn't a bad season. I didn't have a lot to complain. Other than the villains, I didn't have much to complain about. I mean, so my complaints about Milius weren't that I didn't like the villain. I wanted to punch the guy every week, which makes him a good villain. I mean, everything was good up till Nema, honestly. Until they killed Wilf. I mean, they killed Wilfred and Milius in the same episode, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's right. They did. It kind of would have made more sense.
We've had 1, 2. Well, we have 4 weeks of just Milius or just Nema.
Yeah.
That's what hurt. That's. I mean, if you don't do that, if you have either you kill Milius and Wilford's the big bad the rest of the way through, or Milius is just the bad all the way through, you have a stronger season. And Nema can still be there because he's still that smarmy little shit. I mean, Melanie hits the nail right on the head at the end there when she's like, really, Nema? Was it your team or was it you? Come on. She's like, let's be honest, it's the end of the world.
It kind of, to me, almost would have made sense for Wilford to kill Nema, and then Milius is committed to the launch, and Melanie has to convince him because, I mean, if Nema's not going to listen to the science anyway, then can it just be Milius who's not listening to the science? He would have been a better.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Wilford could have said, "Okay, Nema, you got us this far. Let the professionals actually handle this now because you're an idiot."
Yeah.
And I could actually hear Wilford saying something literally right along those lines.
Yeah. I mean, the number one worst thing of the whole season was having Wilford commit. None of us believe that Wilford would ever commit suicide, right?
Oh, I agree.
That was bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And while a great reveal and that's the other thing, like it was such a great reveal that Wilford could walk around outside with no coat on.
And then it killed him.
And it went nowhere. It went nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 seconds after he gets on the train, he kills himself. It's like, what was the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe, he had they had envisioned 5 seasons originally. So obviously season 4 was kind of chopped into, spliced into 2.
Yeah.
And he hit the high points, I guess.
Maybe they got rid of Nema and not brought him in at all. That's
what I'm saying. Maybe maybe their plan was a little different, but because of their time constraints, they kind of changed things up, and unfortunately, it was not for the better. I mean, you take, like I said, you take Nema out, and either one of the two is the villain, either all the way through or towards the end, and it changes the entire season and makes it 100 times better.
Yeah. Well,
maybe they had to have Wilford kill himself because every single character had a chance to kill him and didn't throughout the whole. Like, how many times was someone we're like, kill him, and then they let Wilford live only to regret it, right? Like nobody would ever kill him. But
they could have done an Agatha Christie type thing where everybody had a hand in killing him.
Yeah, or like a Caesar. When
Caesar A2 Melanie.
A2 Melanie, yeah. It was a little bit of the villains were not, when they finally brought in an external villain, it all fell apart. I mean, maybe Wilford being to just not have Wilford be the big bad to the very end. I just don't understand it, right?
It is what it is.
Yep. So, well, I enjoyed it.
And I know you guys don't watch the Boys, but Daveed Diggs is going to be in the Boys next season.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So I'm excited for that, and I can't wait to see what Allison Wright does next. Maybe she can get a job on The Diplomat.
Allison Wright, man, yeah, she's.
Fit right in over there.
I'd love to know what she's doing next, because she is so fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the best actors working on TV right now, I think, and not seen often enough. And I just looked at her IMDb, and she's got something coming up, a movie coming up. I don't know how big a role she has, but she has a movie coming up, so maybe we'll hear from her again soon. So anyhow, that's it for our show this week, huh?
I think so. I think we've gone through everything.
Yep. So, all right. Well, great talking to you guys.
Yep. We'll be back next week. If you've stuck through with us this long, we appreciate it. And once again, I'm sure you all know this by now, but Ricky Hay, sorry, I can't talk, will be on next week to talk about From. And if you missed any of this, you can go back and stream it on our YouTube page. And
I got some fun questions for him next week.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I have some fun questions for him next week.
That's good. That's good. And I just again want to say thank you to all of you that joined us this week. Our new watchers. We appreciate it.
Sure did.
Yes. Tell your friends. We're fun.
Yes. Talk to us. All right.
All right. Talk to you next week.
Guys.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to us.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right.